Do you have too many games? Do you have just the right amount? Is your backlog enormous? Game collecting culture encourages us to constantly find new games to add to our collections. But could downsizing actually be beneficial for some of us? Look, I'm not telling anybody how to collect, and if what you're doing is working for you, then keep doing it. I just want to take a look at what the potential benefits of downsizing are. As game collectors, it's easy to get caught up in a cycle of, ooh, let me add this game, and oh, this console looks cool. And with disposable incomes larger than our former child selves could have ever imagined, the retro gaming world is our oyster. But you know what we had a heck of a lot more of as kids? Time. That meant you generally got your money's worth out of a game. I mean, we only had a handful of games and we would play the crap out of those games. We knew some of those games inside and out, and we could say that we truly appreciated them. Now, most collectors will say they only buy games that are worth playing. They say they don't buy games just to have them. But how many games in your collection have just been sitting there for days, weeks, months, years, decades without being played? Oh, we'll get to them one day, right? Well, not at the rate we keep adding games. How often have you seen people who do collection videos and they can barely even say anything about half the games they show other than what they've heard? This is where consolidation comes in. The benefits? Well, you know those games in your collection you really like? You know, the good stuff. Welcome to the days when you can fire up those bad boys time and time again, without the guilt of those games you should be giving more time to. Maybe you'll finally have enough time to try to beat some of the treasures of your collection. Other benefits? Well, more space and money. That's always good, right? And you know what you can do with more money? Buy more games. No, I'm kidding. That's not the point. However, there can definitely be a fun side to consolidating. It doesn't have to be strictly thought of as purging. You know that flashy boxed copy of Earthbound you've been wanting? Well, that stack of games from the bottom of your collection will more than pay for it. And you're still subtracting overall. But random guy on the internet, whose video I'm watching, you may say. How can you expect me to sell games like Chrono Trigger or Radiant Silvergun? Those games are retro gaming treasures. Well, maybe because you don't like that genre of game or like a handful of games in the same genre a lot more. I don't know. It should all come down to your personal taste. If you're not in it for yourself, then what's the point? Play what you like and don't worry about it. There's always going to be somebody out there who has more games than you, so why not just collect your favorites? Your collection should be a personal curation of what you like. That's what makes it yours. Your collection can read like the best video games of all time according to you. Now, at the end of the day, you can obviously do what you want. My advice is definitely not for everybody, but I think it is for some people, and at the very least it may have you take an honest look at your collection habits and evaluate how comfortable you are with it. I know a lot of people can fall into a bad place mentally when it comes to collecting, feeling all sorts of negative stuff like guilt and regret. And who's got time for that? We're talking about video games here. This is supposed to be fun. When you were a kid, you didn't need a shelf full of games to have a great time. Just remember that. Whatever you own now is probably more than you had as a kid, and that's the true luxury of being an adult. Gone are the days of hoping and wishing your grandma can figure out what Pokemon is at the store. So take a look at your collection, pick out one of your favorites, and get back to what video games are all about. Fun.